Have you ever walked into a space and you just felt yourself exhale or get really tense? Like there was something that made you turn on your calm switch or give you a bit of an adrenaline rush? Well, that's not by accident. That is the power of great design. Great design isn't just about furniture and finishes. It really is about storytelling. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain on how you can design a space that tells your unique story. So whether it's your home or an Airbnb or even a creative workspace, I'll walk you through the exact framework I use for every project. And I'll share a real life example of how I designed actress Susan Kelechi Watson's dining room, where every single choice reflected who she is, from Brooklyn to Jamaica. By the end, you'll know how to create a space that speaks without saying a word. So let's get into it. Step 1, define the feeling. Before you pick a single piece of furniture, ask yourself, how do I want this space to feel? Not look, but feel. Do you want it to feel cozy and warm? Do you want it to feel light and airy, moody and dramatic? When you start with the look, you have immediately cut off your possibilities because you can only know what you've seen. Just like an amazing pair of shoes can look great on someone else, but disastrous on you, so can an aesthetic of a space. In Susan's case, her dining room wasn't just a dining room. It was the first major space you saw when you entered her home. So it had to make a statement. She wanted the perfect emotional blend of drama, culture, and warmth as she entertains a bit in a way that felt authentic to her. So the takeaway for you is this. Before buying anything, define the feeling. Write it down. This will keep you from making random choices that don't work together. Step 2, define the function. Now you know how it should make you feel. It's time to make sure it meets your functional needs. What do you need in that space? What lifestyle needs does it need to fulfill? For Susan, who entertains quite a bit, she knew it needed to house a good amount of folks. She didn't just want it to be a place for a meal, but a place for a wind down or a kickback, and so she could vibe with her friends. With the pocket doors that led to the living room, this was going to feel like an extension of this space. And so we introduced 2 core vignettes, the music area and the bar. This really expanded the use of the space beyond food, which was exactly what she wanted. Step 3, build a visual story. Now that you know the feeling and the function, start collecting images that bring it to life. Think of it like a mood board. This could be Pinterest, a folder on your Google Drive, on Instagram, or even photos from your travels. You want to try and move past just things you visually find attractive and measure them against your emotional and functional needs. An amazing low sofa looks great on camera, but if your knees are real shaky right now, then maybe that's not the choice for you. For Susan, I knew I wanted deep, rich colors that felt bold yet elegant. I pulled inspiration from Caribbean textures and patterns, Brooklyn vibes, and natural elements to align with her emotional and functional needs. Note, I didn't just look at other dining rooms. I looked at art, fashion, and even music to capture the energy of who I understood her to be. The takeaway for you is this. Gather at least 10 images that match your vibe. Then step back and look for patterns in those images. What colors and textures show up again and again? That, ladies and gentlemen, is your roadmap to your design. You want to let those things lead you. Free yourself from the labels around styles. Curation comes a bit later. At this stage, you want to free yourself to the possibilities that are available. Step 4, make your statement. Every well-designed space has a signature something, whether it's a look, a texture, a material that ties everything together. The trick is you have got to choose your main character. When too many things are competing for attention, the entire house of cards crumbles. For Susan's dining room, she already had chosen a very neutral table and also wanted to keep her chairs, which are pretty neutral. So with such major pieces already chosen, I knew that the walls themselves would have to be the superstar of this room. We ended up choosing an amazing water hyacinth wallpaper that brought the nature in. It's such a unique piece that we knew it would be a conversation starter every time. It was bold and neutral, which suited Susan perfectly. The takeaway for you is don't overcomplicate it. Pick one or two colors or textures that you'll repeat in different ways. That's how you make a space feel designed, not just decorated. Step 5, know your role players. Now you have your main character. Everything around it needs to complement it. That doesn't mean it needs to match, but it should complement. So the woods chosen in the additional furniture pieces we have in this room have an organic feel. The artwork Susan had was very bold, so the frames we chose had to make sure that they all felt cohesive together. This step is what keeps you disciplined, folks. No matter how much you love that high back magenta chair, if it's going to compete too much, you have got to let it go. This step is where the curation happens, and keeping it a buck is often the hardest to follow. The takeaway for you is this: stick to your plan. Remember, there can only be 1 to 2 main characters, and then work to find the role players after. Step 6. Adding a personal touch. This is where the magic happens. If you want your space to feel special, not just stylish, add details that mean something to you. One of my favorite things to do as a designer is really observe my clients. In our interactions, I get to learn their quirks and isms that helps me identify their needs and opportunities so I can surprise and delight them in some way. For Susan, I learned just how much she was committed to her craft. Like us, she has her own goals and aspirations, and her home affirmed her in many ways. And so, as a surprise, I bought her a coffee table book called Black Hollywood, which celebrated all the contributions of the actors who have come before her. It was subtle, but relevant. And again, this one book became a talking piece for her and her guests. The takeaway for you: choose 3 personal elements to incorporate, whether it's artwork, books, or meaningful decor. That's what makes a space yours. So, if you want to design a space that tells a story, here's the cheat code. 1, define the feeling. Start with your emotions, not furniture. 2, define the function. Get to what you need, not just what you want. 3, build a visual story. Use your feelings and functions to create your mood board, and look beyond furniture and accessories for inspiration. 4, make your statement. Choose your main character, 1 to 2 at most. 5, build out your role players. You want to create to complement, not compete. And 6, add a personal touch. Make it mean something for you. For Susan Kelechi Watson, this approach turned her dining room into a statement piece, one that told her story the second she walked into her home. If it worked for her, it can work for you too. If you liked this video and you thought it helped, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's a feeling you want to create in your space? I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Peace.